Hi, everybody. Um, we're going to just start with a brief meditation to kind of drop in together, and then we'll dive into all things vetiver. So find whatever your comfy position is. Let your eyes close. Just doing whatever you need to do in your body to be present, even if that's not closing your eyes, if you want to maintain a soft gaze, whatever makes you feel good, comfy. And just starting to be more connected with your breath, letting your breath move through your body and tuning up your awareness of it. And if it feels good and accessible to you, moving your breath up and down the center channel of your body, or maybe even scooping around in the shape of the infinity, reaching all the way down into the earth, coming up through the heart and up into the sky, back through the heart. Just continuing whatever pattern of breath feels nutritious to you right now. And with your attention, with your energy, connecting into the earth. So maybe that's sending a line and anchor down from your root all the way down into the heart of the earth. Just feeling what that sensation of connection is. Allowing the earth's energy, the earth's heartbeat to rise up through that line, rising up through your body into your heart. Maybe just taking a moment here to think, what would it be like if I had strong, sturdy, copious roots dropping straight down into the earth? What would it be like if I had strong blades of grass shooting up from my center up into the sky? Allowing the heart to open a bit and sending a line of light from the heart all the way up into the center of the sky, center of the galaxy, center of consciousness. Tapping into that beautiful, great mystery, all that is God, source, love, truth, wisdom, order. And allowing that beautiful sky energy to drip down, rain down, drift down, touching your field, dropping into your field, dripping down, making its way into your heart. Feeling the sky and the earth come together in your heart space, opening, expanding. Just feeling as your heart creates this beautiful field that you're sitting in, that you're living in, that you're operating from. Still connected deeply to earth, still connected beautifully to sky, still fully in your body, here and now. I want you to allow, if there's any shift that encourages in your body, just allowing yourself to take on the posture that feels truest to you now. And taking a few nice breaths, allowing yourself to come back as you are ready. Yeah, thank you all so much for being here, and also to the people watching the recording. Thanks for your presence. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that our world just continues to get crazier. And I sometimes wonder, like, is it just that we get the language to identify what we're experiencing so we can go like, oh, I really need grounding, or I'm really dysregulated, or or like, have we always been that way to some extent? I'm sure it's a little bit of both. I find the more I have the language to identify what's going on, the more I can see that actually it has been happening all along. I just didn't have the language for it. This came up recently with regulation tools. It's like some bestie sent me something on Instagram about how doing your nails is like self-regulating, because grooming is self-regulating. We only groom ourselves like animals when we feel safe enough to do so. And I'm going, oh, yeah, I used to do my nails like 2, 3 times a week. I would sit there, and it was when I lived in London. And so I wasn't in my home. I was in a home of another family, and I had my friends' DVDs and my nail, and I would like sit and and that was like my time, like my regulation time. I didn't know that I was dysregulated and needed to regulate, right? That's language I have now, but I can look back and see these are human behaviors that happen. Um, anyway, so yeah, I certainly have been leaning on Vetiver, really noticing how supportive it is. And also, I think half the equation is remembering that we have tools, remembering the tools, remembering to use them, getting good at moment to moment, going like, what do I need? Oh, I have it. Let me give it to myself, right? When we can, and really just developing that fluid relationship with support. Um, I'm going to share my slides now. So, vetiver, also known as kus, and in the Vedas, it's called ushira, Ushira, perennial bunch grass, and it's most closely related to sorghum, but shares characteristics with lemongrass, citronella, palmarosa. I found the Wikipedia page for vetiver to be fascinating. I really enjoyed it, so I put the link there in case you want to click on it when I send you the slides. And like, I just found it to be really informative and well sourced and all of that. So that's our vetiver. And vetiver grows at least 5 feet high, sometimes up to 5 feet wide. The roots of grass usually grow outward, right, and create like a mat-like structure. And that is, right, that's like the term grassroots, growing out. Vetiver's roots grow straight down, right? And that is one of the major pieces of the signature that's so impactful for us. And that's why when you connect with vetiver, when you feel that root drop, right? Like Maria, you were saying that it's like you can't even explain it. You just feel grounded. And I have, like, you're gonna see, I'll reuse a lot of the same words. There's a word or some words that I just like can't find that to describe the texture and the qualities of vetiver. There's something really special there. And I think that the reason it's hard to find the words is because it crosses realms. So it's like there's a really physical aspect to it. There's a really subtle layer aspect to it. It really impacts our physical body, but it really impacts our spirit and it really impacts our subtle bodies. And so I find it, there are a couple words that I will just keep using over and over. And I'd love to hear if there are other words that come to your mind. So vetiver's roots grow long and deep, and the root of a plant is where the plant concentrates its vitality. So 5 feet high, 5 feet wide, uh, roots grow down 7 to 13 feet deep, and will reach that depth in the first year. So it is just a root strong, root heavy, root fast, root like it is a root plant. And then there's this beautiful grass, right, which are the leaves. Um, so the strong structural signatures of vetiver make it that naturally deeply grounding, stabilizing force for us. And I think everybody who's doing this class has some experience with vetiver and knows that feeling. And if you don't, maybe you're feeling it now as we're talking about it, because all I have to do is think of vetiver or say vetiver, and I feel, do you see, like, I feel my, yeah. Okay. So fortitude of vetiver. Vetiver grows shoots from its underground root crown, allowing it to survive drought, fire, heavy grazing. Um, this is probably on another slide. I'll just say it now, though. Vetiver is used in land management and farming to stabilize ground and to keep water, like to keep ground where ground needs to be and keep water where water needs to be. That's how strong its roots are. Okay. The most common genotypes of vetiver are sterile. There is a type of vetiver that is not sterile and that is quite invasive. But the vetiver that's used throughout the world most often is the sterile type. So it reproduces by offsets, meaning it doesn't need another plant to reproduce. The mother plant produces a daughter plant that's a clone that's also sterile. So it's very regenerative, right? It can reproduce from itself. And I think that also is part of what we feel in its essence. The kind of stability that vetiver brings makes you feel okay on your own, right? Like it makes you feel self-sufficient, not in an I have to do it all myself kind of way, but in a I'm enough kind of way, right? And so these signatures play out. Vetiver is very cooling, and the roots are used in roof thatching in hot climates. Also used in fans, blinds, curtains. You can like spray if you have a curtain of vetiver and the wind comes through the window and it blows cool air through. Or you have blinds on the window and you spray them with water, or it rains outside and it releases cool air. Vetiver sachets I used to sell at the shop, that I got them also from Papa Rosier, for the bath, for cooling in the bath. And in the winter, or in the summer rather, when it's really hot, I prefer a vetiver spritz to like a peppermint spritz, although I have mixed them and that's really nice too. But vetiver is cooling in kind of a less tingly way. Um, so vetiver is strategically planted for soil and water management. So its steady structure maintains integrity. Doesn't that feel like the truth, right? When we're nice and steady and grounded, we can more easily remain in integrity. And I love that it's of both land and water, like emotions and body and, you know, okay. So take a look at that picture. It's a little fuzzy, but that is vetiver root standing on top of the ground, right? Vetiver that has been dug up. Like, wow. Vetiver oil is known as the oil of tranquility. Tiffany Carroll does really beautiful work with essential oils, and she calls it the restorative stabilizer. And in fact, this card is from her, can you see that? Is from her card deck, the restorative stabilizer. Um, yeah, she's done beautiful work with oils, and a lot of what I'm sharing with you today comes from her. Okay, so my keywords for vetiver are restorative, nourishing, substantive, stabilizing, balancing, rich, and fortifying. I think it's the rich and fortifying. But I feel like there should be another word. Like I want to say it's nutritive, right? Like it feeds us and it's got this richness. This last week, and this will happen right leading up to teaching a class, I'll get some like initiations or some new information. So this week, I haven't been very hungry. Like I just haven't really been wanting food. I'm eating, but like not a lot and not just like eat what I need to eat. But every time I feel kind of hungry or like sometimes I'll eat in order to stabilize, right? Like, oh, I've had my tea and I'm going a little fast and I haven't really eaten yet. And instead of eating, I'll just like put vetiver on. And I'm noticing that it kind of does the same thing. So I'm not suggesting that we stop eating and start using vetiver instead, but it felt like vetiver was trying to show me another quality. And it actually is like nutritious for our multidimensional body. So vetiver oil is usually loved because it helps with restful sleep, keeps us linked to the earth, stabilizes our system during energetic movement. That's kind of what I just described, right? About being all high on my tea and needing to center and calm. And it's really great for the skin. I love vetiver on its own. I often use it on its own. I also really, really love it paired with a high frequency oil like rose. Right now, I'm like, there's something growing, there's something brewing here. I'm playing with vetiver and cedar wood as a really, really potent combination. So, you know, what happens when we go deep, deep, deep and then cast over this beautiful high frequency? It's like this completion. And some of you have done rose stuff with me, and pairing rose and vetiver is just like it's that full circle of like the highest highs and the deepest depths all contained together. I'm starting to feel similarly about cedar and vetiver. If you wanted to use vetiver internally, the oil, you could put a drop in a teaspoon of honey in about 4 ounces of a drink, not like too hot, or in a capsule. The oil itself is very thick. So I I have tried different vetivers and I'm pretty loyal to doTERRA on this one. I really, really, really love their vetiver, and I've never had another one that compared in my mind. What I do when I get my vetiver bottle is I take the top out and I put in a dropper top because it's a lot easier to get vetiver out like that than it is to wait for it to drip out. You can also control how much you get. So that's my little tip for vetiver. Whenever I get a new bottle, I just take my top and I switch it to the new bottle. But this, it's so thick, right? Um, it's so thick, and you really don't need to use it pure. You really can dilute it with fractionated coconut oil or any like shelf stable or, any oil that you want to use. Um, I use it pure all the time, and it's probably a huge waste of money. Like I probably could dilute it and make it last longer, but there's something about the texture of it. I love it. I just want to drink it in. So totally up to you. It definitely can be diluted. Also, doTERRA sells the diluted roller, and that's really nice. That's a really nice way to do it as well. And of course, you might find a non-doTERRA oil that you really love. I'm like addicted to this doTERRA vetiver. And I've had other ones that are nice. They just don't feel as something to me. In traditional Chinese medicine, vetiver is considered a yin plant and good for cooling an overheated temperament. In Ayurveda, vetiver tempers, corrects, and balances the vata dosha. So, vata is the dosha of air and movement. What's this? This feeling. Um, and it does that correction, that balancing on both a character level and an emotional level. And dysregulation of vata impacts respiration, pulse, rhythms, all movements in the body. So from that perspective, any issue you're having with movement, bowel movements, circulation, uh, ticks and twitches, right? Like anything like that, vetiver can help to smooth those flows. Vetiver brings harmony, being both the root and the sap that fills the root. Vetiver brings, what does that mean? I'm not sure what I meant by that. I'll let you know if I remember. Okay. In skincare, vetiver is really revered and beloved. It brings very deep reaching moisture. It strengthens weak and dry skin, promotes even skin tone, and supports cellular regeneration of the skin. So it's used to reduce scarring and stretch marks for wrinkles, bruises, scrapes, injuries, anything. It's also a dermal anti-allergic and an antiseptic. It can treat eczema, atopic allergies, dermatitis, hives. So a really good one to have on hand for any skin issues. Anytime I make a face oil for myself, I just throw a bunch of vetiver in there. If I'm doing like recently I've been experimenting with some different serums and things, and I'll just like add vetiver to the routine and just rub it right in, and I really enjoy it that way. So speaking of cellular regeneration, this is one of the oils that I put in my like cellular regeneration category. And it's in the Vedas. It's been used for a long time by lots of systems. My channeled memory has it being used in the Rose lineage and the Isis and the Yeshua. processes, times, places, people. I have no 3D evidence of that, but I have no question about it. It's a very sacred, restorative, regenerative tool. Vetiver oil helps to clear heat, inflammation, stiffness, stiff muscles. Rub vetiver in. Enhances immune system to treat burnout, recovery, exhaustion from Lyme disease or chronic autoimmune diseases. So for my natural health consultation patients, they all get vetiver. Like if they have any kind of, and as I said in the beginning, they all do have some kind of chronic issue, nervous system dysregulation. The first thing I say is, here's some vetiver. I want you to be with it every day. I want you to have a vetiver practice, and we'll go over some of the different practices. Supports neuroendocrine restoration, the health of the cells that connect the nervous system and endocrine system. This is huge, right? This is very, very important for all of us that experience changes in our nervous system related to our hormonal shifts. Treats hormonal and glandular disharmonies with central nervous system weakness. Good for hormonal regulation. Can treat estrogen and progesterone deficiency with PMS or perimenopausal symptoms, also the shifts that happen in menopause. One of the best oils for hypersensitive and fatigued nervous systems with digestive complaints especially, but any hypersensitive or fatigued nervous system. This was a huge ally for me in recently. I had to overcome some nervous system burnout, and this has been so helpful. Grounding and calming for the mental and emotional bodies, treats ADD, ADHD, supporting physical embodiment. So this is all energetically kind of the same thing, right? Of that energy going, whether it's in the head, in the body, and vetiver goes, come back to center, come back to roots. Connects spirit to matter by stabilizing the energetics in the body, so it's helpful for acute or chronic shock or trauma. Deeply restorative for mental emotional imbalances that are connected to deep physical fatigue, helpful for a hypersensitive mind, emotional or physical body. The restorative stabilizer helps us in times of overstimulation and hypersensitivity. Helps us to have and maintain connection with the earth, supporting our roots and the healing of the schisms between our mind and body and between our head and heart. It brings this cohesive wholeness that doesn't have room. Like those schisms are not compatible with it, right? And when we bring in a strong, gentle but strong energy like vetiver, there isn't room for some of those things to stay, right? They can't be in the same space. Very helpful for strengthening and steadying or stabilizing the root chakra. So think of classical root chakra issues: home, body, embodiment, incarnation, financial security. It's helpful for insecurity, low self-esteem, self-doubt, discouragement. Can strengthen roots, allowing for a flourishing of other areas of the energy body, especially the lower chakras up to the heart. And it can help to balance overactivity in the upper chakras, right? Same thing again. All this energy going like this, we're going to balance it. If you think of the energy of the earth, of us receiving earth energy through our root chakra, vetiver can help that energy that's coming up, can help us to actually receive and use that energy properly. So if we think of that energy coming up and it kind of rests in our heart, and then we've got energy from spirit coming down and resting in our heart, Vetiver is going to especially support everything heart down, right? Everything that's coming through the root. But having that stronger lower chakra system is what helps us to be able to balance out that stronger higher chakra system. According to Tiffany Carroll, Vetiver essential oil works on all of the chakras in these ways. It stabilizes the center of the chakra and the spanning action of the chakra, nourishes the core of the chakra, and energetically cools the chakra. And in particular, Vetiver has an affinity for the seventh, right? Our crown, our root, and our solar plexus. And I think that the affinity for the crown is because of how it works with the root, right? And their partners. She says that vetiver brings penetrating roots into the places that are disconnected or closed off. Vetiver enriches the yin, the cooling and moistening substance of the body, mind, and soul, allowing for smooth interpenetration on all levels of being. That's maybe a way to say the thing I can't find a word for. Connects us to the depth of our own taproot, bringing us deep, easeful sustenance, structure, and stability. And these effects can have a profound influence on mind, body, head, heart, and existential schisms. Okay, so I want to pause there for a second at the end of our oil section. Questions, thoughts, experiences, insight? Anybody?
I just wanted to say another word that comes up for me when I think of
Yeah.
oil or smell the oil is ancient. Like it just feels like something so old and so like known. Just feels ancient to me.
That's so powerful. Like our bodies, the primal ancientness of our bodies recognizes it. Mm, thanks.
Yeah, it feels like going off of that. Also, like when you the scent also just feels like a primal scent that has been with us
Mm,
forever. Um, and everything, I think it just awakens that's it was my first again, like it was the first experience I had with an oil. Also for me, it was the oil and even recognizing that I was feeling dysregulated because it wasn't until I experienced the sense, then I was like, oh, this is what it feels like to be grounded. So,
wow,
yeah.
that's so powerful, clear, true, right? Like
Hmm.
it brings such a strong experience of that groundedness that if you haven't been feeling it, it's going to shine that light right on
Yeah.
its opposite. Oh, yeah, powerful. I think vetiver is kind of like a gateway oil in that way because it's so powerful, and yeah, I think it makes an impact for sure. Okay, so when I collected the essence, this is the description that I worked up at first. Vetiver essence adds a grounding element to any essence formula. So in my mind, I was collecting it to be a part of a formula to add that like grounding element. On its own, it can introduce you to its stability, letting your body system learn its wise pattern of continuous deep rooting that allows sturdy upward and outward growth. It brings a reliable stabilization with deeply penetrating nourishment to the nervous system. Great for frayed, thin, or overextended nerves, vetiver helps us to rest, restore, and sleep by offering patterning that allows mind and body to find their calm. Then, as I was getting all excited about this class and writing another vetiver transmission, this felt important to add. When we have dissociated for any reason, pain, shock, trauma, fear, ecstasy, right? Because we can dissociate from good things too. It's not just bad things. We need to reintegrate into the wholeness of our body and being with a focus on rooting, grounding, and landing in our bodies here and now. Vetiver brings that medicine gently, but without falter or waver, a strong presence of stabilization, giving us, not up, giving us supple, supportive ground to land on. Yeah, I'm going to keep going and then we'll see where we are. Okay. So I like when working with a plant ally in essence form or oil form too. Like I think oil carries the essence and essence carries it in water, basically. I like to work with one or with a formula or whatever for 21 days, right? Maybe it's a month, but 21 days to experience evolution and then pause and notice what's happened, right? Or you can use these as needed in the moment. Okay. So let's work with your vetiver oil. So if you have your vetiver oil, bring it out. And this AccuTouch practice is something I learned from Tiffany Carroll and our friend Nixa, if you know Nixa, who introduced me to Tiffany. So the AccuTouch process uses acupressure or acupuncture points, but it's not a pressure practice. It's a soft holding practice. So what you want to do is take a little bit of oil on your finger or on the place where you're going to put the oil. And you're just going to gently hold in order to keep the oil from evaporating. You're like a cap on it. So one of the best places is kidney 1, K1 on the bottom of the foot. So if you have access to your foot, I'll invite you to touch and let your eyes close. And just see if you can start to feel the essence of vetiver penetrating your subtle body through the oil. And ideally, we want to hold there for about a minute, but I want to give you a couple of other points. So whenever you feel complete with that, come back and smell your finger. That's the fun part. Okay, so I want to show a few other points here. Heart 7, which is called the Spirit Gate or the Shenmen. And we have a Shenmen of the ears too, so we might try that one too. But heart 7 right here. So I want to try this one. I think I'm going to try it on my non-dominant arm. If you want to, you can try pericardium 6. Pericardium is the protector of the heart. That one feels the most potent to me right now. Okay, then I want to just talk for a moment about the conception vessel and governing vessel meridians. Conception vessel runs all down the front of your body. So conception vessel points will be like here and here, and the heart and the belly and the pubic bone, all the way down to like the perineum is a conception vessel point. I really, really, and it's a yin, a very yin. It's the conception vessel, like it's literally our conception. It's a very and our like in the womb time. So it's a very nourishing, sweet, tender meridian. And I really love putting vetiver on CV points. Now, governing vessel runs down the back of our body, and where this conception vessel is the feminine, the yin, governing vessel is the masculine force. And I actually really love putting vetiver on my governing vessel too. In fact, one of my favorite places to do it is at the base of my skull, like that spines, like those top vertebrae. It feels to me like it really enters the nervous system. And it feels also energetically, like chakra wise, this is kind of where outside energies sometimes enter the body. And so it feels like a protection, actually. When I put vetiver on the back of my neck and the base of my skull, I feel so protected and held. And then there's the practice of heaven and earth, which is the GV, governing vessel 20, which is called 100 meeting points or something like that, just the top of the head, and then the kidney one, the bottom of the feet. And so doing those together is a really nice balancing. Yeah. Definitely self Reiki or hands-on healing with vetiver. This is like, especially if I'm activated or having a hard time or working through something, just a little bit of vetiver wherever I want on my body, often like the womb or the low belly or the solar plexus, and just apply a little bit of oil, place the hands, and just allow, right? And allowing that healing to happen. And there's something about the combining of the Reiki or the intentional hands-on healing with vetiver's own actions that feels really powerful. So you can allow yourself to feel roots growing, connecting you to the earth as a fluid anchor, right? Not a stiff anchor, a fluid anchor. And allow that yourself to feel that stabilization flowing into the body. And, you know, the practice is then to see what shifts. Usually something. Okay. Vetiver, like you are your own vetiver diffuser, especially if you're using the pure oil, not diluted. I mean, I can smell it. Well, I just did that wrist I can still smell it from like this morning. It will stay. And when I wear vetiver, people are always asking me, what are you what is that smell? I'm like, oh, I get nose blind to it. Like I don't even smell it anymore. But yeah, is it vetiver? And they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, because I like covered myself in it before I left the house. I forgot. Um, so yeah, your body can be your own personal diffuser, and really you can just all day long get that little influx of vetiver. Definitely diffusing it in the house, either in a water diffuser or a clay diffuser, you know, the little terracotta. You can use a little, do I have one in here? I have so many because I ordered them. Anybody wants a clay diffuser? They're also like words. They double as brown sugar savers. So if you're ever in like a kitchen store and you see a terracotta brown sugar saver, um, you can use that as a clay diffuser where you just put a couple drops of oil and it'll soak into the clay and then diffuse over time. And definitely sleeping with vetiver diffusing is a really nice way to support good rest. Okay, this is the thing that I recommend for everybody: a vetiver foot massage or just a vetiver foot moment, right? So I'm going to, like, where can I do this that you'll see me? I'm going to try doing it right here and see if you can see it. So I will take vetiver, put it on my feet, and then basically just bring my head to my feet, my hands to my feet, and I am becoming like a whole circle supported by vetiver. Now, your feet might not touch your head. That's okay. But the idea is to sort of curl in, and everything is about this rooting of your vetiver on your feet. It's a deeply relaxing and supportive way to be with the oil. And you can just be there. You can just be there and breathe, and who cares what you're thinking about. Or you could do intentional breath movement. You can treat that as a reflection time. It could be a time where you're doing affirmation for yourself or where you're in prayer. Even if you're going over your grocery list, it's still better with vetiver. But I know it might seem like, I don't know, does it seem weird? But there's something about it that's so, so, so nourishing. So I recommend finding your way with it. But just your vetiver foot moment. This is like, if you could do this once a day, I think it would change your life. Right? Okay. Also, just routine daily application, however you're doing that, whether it's a foot moment, whether it's like on your, an acupoint, whether it's actual massage or for perfume, and just taking a moment with vetiver and asking, like, what do you want to tell me today? Or what do I need to nourish today? And like, vetiver will answer you. It's not quiet. It's not subtle, right? Like, it's got answers. It's got power. The spirit is strongly present. It's not a mystery. It doesn't feel like a mystery spirit. I did this yesterday morning, and I wrote down what the insight was. It was something really beautiful. I don't remember it right now. So adding to your skin oil or your serum, adding to hair or body mist. Because I'm curly, I often keep a spray bottle if I need to like wet my hair, and I'll always put yummy oils in there, and usually vetiver. I basically have in the summer, I have a little spray bottle I carry around with me in case I get overheated or if I need to fix my hair. Definitely making a perfume roller with the carrier oil. The oil roller I have been using probably for the last year. I'm almost out of it, finally. Vetiver, cedar, rose, and jasmine. And it's just divine. And definitely I keep a sample size bottle in my purse always. You can keep one in your glove compartment, someplace it doesn't get too hot in the car. But I just think it's such a rescue, it's such a rescue oil. So I really like to have it around, especially if I'm higher on the anxiety spectrum. I want it nearby. Okay, so some favorite combinations for the oils, vetiver and coriander. This is, I think, a Tiffany Carroll suggestion. I don't know that I've actually done this one, treating the root of lack. Vetiver and cedarwood for rebuilding and strengthening your inner energetic structures. Vetiver and rose for embodied bliss. Vetiver and jasmine for restoring trust through the body. Vetiver and helichrysum for amazing skin regeneration. Those are just some. I think there's probably nothing you could put with vetiver that that wouldn't be great, but those are just some that came to mind from my experience. Okay. Does anybody need to get up and stretch or move or yeah, take a minute if you need anything. Now's a good time for it. So before we move into some transmission from vetiver, would you guys like, does anybody have, I guess I'm curious about two things. One, what do you need from vetiver? What do you want from vetiver? And two, what questions do you want to ask vetiver? So maybe let's take a minute, reflect, and write that for ourselves. And then I'm really curious to hear them, but if you don't want to share them, that's totally okay. So what do you want or need from vetiver? And what questions do you have for vetiver? My questions were, vetiver, do you have a wish for the world? And what do you want people to know? Okay, cool. All right, so what I think we'll do now, if you guys are down, we'll take some vetiver essence and then I'll lead us through like a kind of way in with vetiver, meditation, visualization, what have you. And then I'm probably just gonna start channeling, listening, talking, asking questions, and talking. I really mean it when I say if you are having your own experience and you don't want to hear me talking, just mute me. It's fine. This is a group experience. It doesn't have to be you listening to me. I'm going to do that for the group and for the class, but you're welcome to have your own, you're all intuitive beings. You're welcome to have your own experience with vetiver. So, okay. I'm going to I know we all just covered ourselves with vetiver. I'm going to do a little bit more of the oil and then I'm going to take some essence. So please feel free. Probably that if you got a little essence, mini essence dropper from me, it's probably like a full dropper is probably like your normal 3 drops. Mm. I got a sweet message from Mads, who some of you know, who couldn't be here live, and she said, I wanted to just speak this in. It was a magical day yesterday. I did a little dab of vetiver on my temples about midday and took a few drops of the essence. The rest of my day was so grounded and full of ease, truly lovely. I'm looking forward to catching the recording. Already enjoying being reacquainted with vetiver. So I just thought of that because I wanted to go to my temples. Oh, essence. Since odd, I never do this. I'm putting a drop of the essence on my head, actually. So just breathing in vetiver. And if you need to, reconnecting now to the earth, seeing, feeling, imagining a loop, an energetic loop from your heart that goes down into the heart of the earth. And so you're receiving from the earth and giving to the earth in equal measure. Filling up with earth and filling earth with your love, your heart, your truth, your being. Feeling as your heart almost fights to expand more, wants to just burst open with bigness. And how that matches the big love of the earth. This reciprocal feeding of earth and heart is a rhythm by which we move, dance, step forward into this kind of liminal space where it's easier to hear Vetiver. And we look up, energetically looking up at the sky, welcoming in the beautiful sun, beautiful spirit, beautiful wisdom, beautiful God, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful order, divine truth. And we can experience this balance of deep, deep roots and high reaching grass. Allowing yourself in whatever way feels accessible to you in this moment to become the vetiver. See if you can feel, if you can tap into the sturdy, steady structure of the roots and the fierce upwelling, upshooting of energy through the leaves and the grass. And this beautiful center where one grows from the other. How amazing that this plant that grows in this hot, hot climate has its cool roots under the earth. It can stand the heat, it can sustain the blazing sun. Its underground parts, its vital roots, cool, calm, strong, and deep. And so, with our focus on Vetiver, our love and attention and reverence and thanks and gratitude to Vetiver, with our highest selves present, our best intentions here, our clear minds, our clear hearts, we invite in and welcome and thank the presence of the spirit of Vetiver in whatever form is easiest for us to receive him now. It does feel masculine. So as soon as I said that, I was kind of feeling him sort of saunter in and trying to make sense of how he was appearing. And then car drove by bumping the dance music. And there is a kind of like, there's a kind of lightness and joy and like a little bit of a jovial feel that comes from being so strongly rooted, that comes from being so grounded and just in truth of being. There's space opened up, so we experience the mind going, and we have a hard time lightening up, right? But with the mind energy drawn down into the body, drawn down through the root into the earth, with the primary force being below ground, there's space, there's spaciousness, there's available head energy for fun and laughter and play and silliness without being devoid of substance, without being frivolous. Joyful and rooted is what it feels like. So thank you, like, oh, Vetiver, thank you so much for being here and sharing this. So before I start asking questions, I'll just ask Vetiver, what do you want to say to us? What is there anything that you want to share with us? So the joy is key, and there's the need. When you're already rooted, you can just prioritize joy. But the rooting is essential. How could we expect to be able to experience the full spectrum of what life has to offer and not be bowled over by it without roots? Rooting for us as human beings can look like a lot of different things. We can be rooted in our values. We can be rooted in our faith, in our ancestry, in our location, in our land, in our home, in our partnerships, in our roles in the family. We can be rooted to our purpose, rooted in our purpose here in this incarnation. There are so many different ways and levels that we can root on in through. And they're all valid, but some are sturdier ground than others. And when we choose to root into something reliable, into something truthful, multidimensionally reliable and multidimensionally truthful, life is easier. Life is easier, joy is easier, grief is easier. Everything is easier when we are rooted into something reliable. And so joy is important, but more important than joy is rooting, because it's what allows us to have the joy. If everybody focused on being rooted in something truthful, good, reliable, the world would be an easier place to live. If we can teach our children what it is to be rooted in truth, in good, in love, we can shift the way the world is moving. And it doesn't have to be our children, right? We're talking about the next generation, but we are here and now. So when we talk about teaching the children, that is a top down, that is a vertical way of thinking of things. But let's expand to other kinds of grasses. Let's grow out. Let's change this moment here and now in the world by impacting the people all around us, everywhere, with rooting. What are we tied to? What are we getting our strength from? What are we giving our nourishment to? What are we aligned with? This question, what are we relying on, feels very important. Mm. That seems to have answered. Do you have a wish for the world? What do you want people to know, and what primal wisdom comes forth today? So how to best incorporate this grounding, these tools into everyday life, uniting spirit and matter, being integrated in the body. Like, how do we translate this to everyday life? So the answer of the hunk standing next to you is definitely present. Like, have conversations with him. Ask for help. How do we think of how people remember their connection to God when they forget? They wear a necklace, they get tattooed, right? Like, what do you do? What is your reminder? All you need to do is be reminded to ask, and it's there. It is there. So this is more a personal question of what will make the difference for you. What will be impactful for you? What will not become so commonplace you'll forget about it? There are a number of things coming to mind. So we said jewelry, tattoo, having the oil next to your bed and using it every morning when you get up, every night when you go to sleep, having a bottle next to the sink so you remember it when you're doing your dishes, um, making art inspired by vetiver and hanging it in your home, having a board on the wall where you ask your question to vetiver for the day. And I'm not saying this like making vetiver God, but vetiver is an ally. And if what you want to do is root into something truthful, if you can't plant your feet in the ground and never leave, the question is, what are you going to plant into? What are you going to root into? What is going to become a part of your everyday life so that you can continue to get nourishment from it and to give it thanks? It's so beautiful. There are so many messengers of true wisdom, God's wisdom, right? Like irrefutable truth, laws of the universe. And plants are that, right? Plants are pure evidence of laws of nature in action. What beautiful messengers and allies from God. Truly magnificent. And they're everywhere. And in Southern California, you could probably have a vetiver. You could probably have vetiver planted. You could have grass. So vetiver, can you save the world? Vetiver says you can save the world by bringing the medicine. Vetiver says it's just truth. It's just truth. And thank goodness we can laugh and joke and have fun with it. Oh, thank goodness for that. But it's just truth. We do need to bring more truth into the world. We do need to focus on truth. We do need to become more aligned with the laws of nature and the laws of the universe. There's a trend now of trying to make anything true, but we have to be a little bit warriors of actual truth. And we can only do the best we can do now, here. And so that's what we'll do. More truth, more truth, more truth. And remember that your rooting is key to you being able to do any of it. So if you can't focus on spreading truth to others, but you can focus on getting your body more balanced, do that, because that is what will allow you to reach more people when the time is right. That is what will allow you to live this life in good harmony. Some of us are messengers meant to share words, ideas. Some of us are meant to take care of ourselves and be an example. And some of us, we have so many different roles. So I think that answers what can you teach us at this time in the world? And so the last question is, what do you want humanity to know? Right now, the answer is, I want humanity to know that there is truth. Everything is not subjective. There are objective truths. And it's the loss of that that is one of the big dangers to our world. There are many different ways to see this, and we don't love talking about We don't love spending our meditative time talking about what is wrong with the world, but we can't ignore it. And so I want the world to know that there is objective truth. I want people to choose truth, to choose love. Love comes from truth. The truth that we are all united. We are all beings of the same species on the same earth. This truth is paramount, is essential. Root deep, love each other. Love each other all around. Thank you so much, Vetiver. Okay. That's it for my channeling. So take your time coming back.